It's always like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video we are going to do a quick teardown and also like a review about this new Pandora EX, the 10,000 whatever edition. So when it comes to these boxes, oh boy, it's like a freaking jungle out there. This was the latest one, the 3D Pandora Saga EX Wi-Fi edition. But the question remains, what are we going to get with this? So they're also like selling this like game system. I just want to show you what you're going to get inside the box. So basically what you're going to get is, wiggle. You're going to get yourself the like HDMI to VGA converter. So this is the plastic fantastic box. Here you can see like all of the connections. So this is like slightly different than when you're having with the typical Pandora's box. I'll give you like a quick example over here. So with the normal version you can see like the ports are completely different. Take consideration if you want to slap this in Pandora's box itself, you need to have like this gigantic hole. Otherwise you will not align all of the connections. But basically more of the same. The biggest difference is that this thing has a separate on and off switch. Quite interesting. HDMI out, like with the VGA you need to have a converter. Like with the normal Pandora's box you have it like built in. It does have an Ethernet connection, so that is something that is quite interesting and new. Settings, 2 USB ports over here, that's the same like with this version. But nevertheless, let's take a close look at what you can do with it. But what are you going to get inside the kit beside the main board? But what are we going to get with the game system? So this is basically the configuration that you're going to get. You're going to get like the same main board they're using in arcade machines or 2-player or Pandora's boxes. But what you're also going to get are 2 controllers, the power supply 12 volt, and of course we're going to get an HDMI. Take consideration, depends where you buy it, you will get like different 12 volts, so sometimes you're going to get this weird block with this short cable attached to it, or you're going to get like this like lithium power charger, but this is just a typical like better quality one, so that's something they take consideration. Okay, but let's take a close look at the configuration, because if you go to plug in the HDMI, you're going to get the audio through your monitor. If you go to use like the converter with VGA, you don't have this, and you need to use the audio jack over here with a separate speakers. So it's going to be like a little bit more of an hassle. The controllers, yeah, so we're going to get ourselves like USB or UCOM controllers. Special configuration, like 2 controllers with 1 USB. And the reason is like simple, like you're only having like 1 USB most of the time that is compatible for using input devices. And it's going to be sometimes a little bit of hassle finding the right controller. I did a separate review about it, like with the Pandora Gate 3D, and I've noticed that like the cheap, like these things are absolutely garbage. But some of them seem to be working fine, and in combination or with sometimes the Xbox 360 controller seems to be working fine. But you need to have like with an USB like hub to get multiple ports, but that also works good. Okay, but that's basically what you're going to get with the controllers. But let's hook it up and I'll see what we're going to get with this new version, this 128 gigabyte version. Is it any new, or is the same crap all over again? So the first thing that I completely messed up is that we're going to get the different language, and you can fix it by basically pressing the settings button, but for now we're just going to like take a close look. So basically what we're going to get is the big list over here. Pressing start will bring you to the search. Then we do have like a recent list, and here we do have like the category. So when it comes to support, you still have PlayStation Portable and 64, and we're going to try out a couple of games, but I would not be surprised that not all of the games will run perfectly, because they're still using the same stuff. Funny thing is like they're using the Xbox 360 logo for the Mega Drive, something they completely mess up. PC Engine is a pretty damn cool one. So but the weird thing is like you can see like the icons at the end of the game, and the main problem is like not every single one has been put in a category. Like kind of weird. As you can see over here, but doesn't really matter. But then we have like Saga Dreamcast, they added a lot of stuff, but take consideration this runs on a really old Dreamcast emulator, so not everything will run also perfect. We have some MAME and Neo Geo, but there is nothing special over here. So let's take a close look at the menu itself, just to see what we're going to get with the settings menu. Alright, so I'm just going to be honest, somewhere here we need to change out the language itself. Ah, there it is. So this is basically what we're going to get with the settings. No aspect ratio has been, let's say, added. This is just like an old board that they like remarketed again. Image optimization, you can put disable, scan lines, and HD filter. Just going to leave it like that. So let's see, we have entered the game markets. That's still possible. And then we do have like the Wi-Fi and check for update options. So those things are still enabled, but there's nothing special over here. Alright, so let's see if we can use this 2-player settings mode. Okay, so let's see if we can navigate through the menu. Try analog. Okay, so this is really like a common problem when you're going to use these controllers. We can go back to the main menu, but PlayStation Portable is not configured with a freaking controller. So they sell it like it is, but it doesn't work that great. Or actually not with these controllers. But when it comes to controller support, these things are a freaking nightmare. It's like also like a gamble, like, oh boy, like finding a good one. But when I'm having an original Xbox 360 controller, this works always. Or you're going to get a great support when it comes to all of the games. So you don't have like the weird mumbo jumbo that controllers are like working like half of it or not at all. So this is like a great solution. So take that into consideration when it comes to these Pandora's box, especially this model. Yeah, the Pandora's box in general, it's again like a mix. Some will have support for 360, but some don't. Absolutely freaking nightmare. Alright, first try, let's take a close look at the PlayStation Portable, but I can tell you already, it's going to be the same story all over again, because with these new models, they will have like some new kind of versions, but it just like, don't change anything out, and they just give you like the same stuff all over again. Like, it stutters like crazy, wiggle feed. But seems to be like the controller mapping seems to be working alright. Yep, absolutely. Oh man, I'm going to get my ass whooped this time. Or not. But yeah, is this a playable? I don't know, man. Like, it's a little bit of a bummer because I know there are fixes out there. Even they're running on older Android boxes. We do have options to fix all of their issues. And they just don't give a shit. They don't do that. But when it comes to PlayStation 1, let's say from the 8-bit to PlayStation 1, that run just fine on this. Of course, it's like we're still running on original resolution, so not upscaled whatsoever. So that is a little bit of a bummer. But you get some decent gameplay out of it. Rival Schools is an absolutely great game. I played it so much on my PlayStation 1 back in the day. Okay, so another problem is that they're also using so very strange, let's say, old emulators. They do have like the same freaking issues. Glitching character screens, stuff that already have been fixed like many times before. Oh, wait. Okay, this is a new one. So it doesn't even show the characters. So that's absolutely like an a completely messed up situation. So now this with N64 where it's like it's going to be an issue, and this is like the thing you will see a lot. Alright, so this is one of those homebrew weird games that you can find, or yeah, basically it's a Sonic clone where you actually play like Super Sonic all the freaking time. And one arcade die. No, so this is quite cheesy. See, but the funny thing is you don't have like the spinning dash attack or anything else, like you're just supersonic. Also, the stages are completely different. So that's the stuff basically what you will find on this. It's an okay homebrew game, but it's kind of funny. And when it comes to 16-bit, it runs very well on this. So if you want to boot up the PlayStation, Sega Dreamcast emulator, you need to always set the date. Quite annoying. I did like have the option to play it in 4:3 resolution. So there's no widescreen over here, so another weird thing. What I've noticed with some games that we do have the option to having like what kind of display. But if you're choosing 60 or test, you're just going to get a black screen. It doesn't work. So if I'm saying it correctly, it was 50 Hertz that had no problem whatsoever. Yeah, so that's another weird thing with this. Alright, so let's try a little bit of Power Stone. Let's see what we're going to get over here. So if this is going to be playable at all. Take consideration, this is not like one of those like super benchmark games. But also you can see like the brightness is absolutely messed up. You can see some glitches over there. So all of those issues that we have seen before with all those different Pandora's boxes, they still have it with this too. So it's another case like they improved absolutely nothing. So but overall performance with some games is at the point that it's just still playable. But here you can see when going into the game, There's no problem whatsoever. Alright, so for the benchmark, for the main, we're going to test out Mortal Kombat 1. That's basically like the most demanding game there is only in this thing, because it doesn't have like Run Chaos, Tekken, and all the other meme stuff, or like the newer stuff. Another thing you also don't find on these is Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat 3, the main games. Oh man, the button layout is absolutely horrible. That is another issue of these freaking things. But when you're looking at this main board, that is, I think, the most interesting part about it. So, okay, wait, what the hell did happen here? So, a piece of cardboard just went into it and was stuck between the... Okay. But the main board, let's talk about that first, because this is quite interesting. We do get like this weird looking Android box. That's basically what it is. And they slapped it in here. And I don't know if this thing is brand new made, because they're using the green color PCB. But so far there is nothing of an information. I cannot remove the freaking like passive cooled element over here. It gets quite hot, but it transfers all of the heat, so that part works very nice. And the big metal plate is good enough, because I haven't tried it now for a couple of hours and seems to be working fine. They configured the Android box with a special part, so basically this is needed for plugging it into your 2-player arcade stick. So but when you're looking at, let's say, your typical Pandora's box, I will give you an example over here. So this is your typical Android box, and this is quite interesting, you know, like it's completely different. So when you want to like implement this in your arcade stick, yeah, take consideration like the ports are going to be slightly, it's going to be completely different. Also, this thing has like a dedicated on and off switch, something you don't have with your typical Pandora's box. So it's quite an interesting concept, but downside is they're still using the same stuff. So for example here, I have the previous model and nothing has been changed out, I can tell you that. Okay folks, that's it. That's what you're going to get with the new Pandora EX2. So these things can be, let's say, upgraded with Pandora tools. So that is, I think, the most interesting part about it. So when you're plugging it in or using like the game system, it's not that fancy. It still has the same issues, especially up to, let's say, higher than PlayStation 1. It's a little bit of a bummer, but yeah, again, I'm not surprised, because this happens all the freaking time in the Pandora jungle. Thanks for watching, consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become the Wicked family, and I'll see you in the next video.